Hello! Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Bit of a bonus stream here today. Despite the alert showing up yesterday, today is the real anniversary of when I became a Twitch partner, which I don't believe is necessarily the limit on subscriber length, because I think you can subscribe to an affiliate. So even though it is 6 years of being a partner, you can still theoretically have a longer subscription. Although I don't think I was an affiliate for too long before I was a partner. That's a good question. That's a good thing to ask. Twitch affiliate. I think I was an affiliate for roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 or 4 months. So max subscriber length is probably like 75. Something like that. The Leap, thank you for the 48th. But we are here. We're here to celebrate. 6 years is a long time to be on Twitch. I got to tell you. CD, thank you for the 43rd. There are certainly people who have been on Twitch longer. But, I feel like a lot of like the really successful people are like the stars. There's always new stars of Twitch coming up, you know? Very sick, nasty anniversary. There's some Big Brother news to talk about. I should maybe mention that. How come I can never see my own tweets? Big Brother news. Yes, Julie Chen, for the first time ever, is not going to be hosting the show tonight. And in her place, Jerry O'Connell. Hold on, I gotta do some window thing. It's gonna be too bright. It's gonna be too bright. It's too bright. It's too bright, but it's too windy to have the window open and have the shade down. So, what are we gonna do? Nah, it's too bright. Hold on, give me a sec. Manageable. Master, thank you for the 22nd. Kristen, thank you for the 53rd. Jerry O'Connell, listen, he's been a fan of the show. They have called him, at least. I think he's been in the CBS reality hosting sphere before. He was he hosted, what was it? Love, what was it called? The Love Ship, the boat show. Jody, thank you for the 49th. The Real Love Boat. Host on the talk. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Miss, thank you for the $10. Appreciate that. Is this an indication of who Julie would eventually be replaced by? I honestly assume not. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but like, I assume this is kind of like a. You know what? I say that. I was thinking like, oh, it's probably like a last minute thing, but like, they've probably thought about this before. Like they probably had some backups on the roster. Like, they must have had this discussion. Like, who is going to replace Julie in the event that she is sick or something along those lines? And Jerry O'Connell had to have been one of the people on that list. It's not like they can postpone the show. So it's going to be weird though. Like Big Brother hosted by not Julie. Especially Big Brother hosted by Jerry O'Connell. Like, obviously, I made this tweet about Sliders, but like, I was a huge Sliders fan when I was a kid. I watched that show like every morning. So it's very strange to me that Jerry O'Connell, of all people, is stepping in to host Big Brother right now. People have been talking about Quinn and how, obviously it's looking real bad for Quinn. There was not much campaigning going on today. There was not much of anything going on today, which means Quinn's pretty much a goner. People talking about like, oh man, Quinn's not going to get Julie. I certainly can't speak for Quinn. But I will say, if I was on the show and I got evicted and I came out to Jerry O'Connell, I'd be thrilled. If I came out to anyone, the fact that it's not Julie is so cool. I would think. The one and maybe only exit interview to ever be done by not Julie. His letterbox says Kangaroo Jack is one of his favorite movies. That would be one of his favorite movies. That tracks. Sheriff Hood, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. The first thing I would think if it's not Julie is like, wait, were you here for anyone else? Wait, no, they're going to know because Jerry O'Connell is going to show up on the screen to direct them to vote. Oh, it's going to be so weird. What are they going to say to him? Yeah. Jerry, you look so handsome. It's going to be weird. The other thing that I just saw, I just tweeted this out. I assume this is from an episode preview. Now, we've talked about this a little bit on the feeds. But we have diary room confirmation now from Leah that she maybe has a little bit of a crush on Quinn. So I tweeted, okay, this might be the first time ever that somebody comes out of the house saying, I'm the real winner of this season. And I don't think they're lying. Because I think Quinn will take that as the ultimate win. Sydney, thank you for the 32nd. Joseph is crushed. Look, a lot of people are crushed. A lot of crushes are going on, you know? Really not doing any favors to future nerd archetypes, though. This is only going to get worse from here on. This is if you if you are applying for Big Brother 27 and you're a single woman, just know you're going to I feel like you've got an in here. Well, yeah, thank you for the 36. 14 in a row there. But yeah, that's interesting stuff going on in the world of Big Brother 26 right now. Okay. So there are some other things to do. We've got some Survivor cast stuff to go over. And then we can maybe talk stock watch. We've only got like an hour 45 before the episode starts, so we'll see what we have time for. But I have not watched the Asia interview, so I want to do that on stream. I assume many of you have at this point. I assume most of you have at this point. But I was saving. I was thinking it would be fun to watch on stream. I'm looking for it though. Is it? Because I haven't watched anything. Is it this hour and 7-minute video? Asia Welsh and Genevieve Mashaluk? Mashaluk? Is this the one, or is there a shorter one? That is the one. Okay. It's split. I mean, yes, I see that there's two. There are two. Okay. Okay, so I can watch the. I don't. Okay, so there's the interview, the commentary, the interview, the commentary. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Here's what we'll do. Wow, I'm really centered, aren't I? Tilly, thank you. Let me just do one of these real quick. What if I did this and then I did this? Oh, it does change. That is so stupid. Whatever. We'll just do this. Okay. Good enough. All right.
Hey, what's going on? Rob Sesternino back here to kick off another season. Okay, very fun to get into all this. Mike, are we ready to talk a little bit about Asia?
Yeah, so it turns out we're starting with a big one here. We are talking about Asia Welch. Of course, Asia is 32 years old. She is from Houston, Texas. She is a senior consultant for an HR IT company. She'll explain that in our interview. But I think she's perhaps more well known, Rob, for being a face and name associated with this very podcast.
Draft return for Survivor 47, where very oddly, Asia will be drafted and not drafting.
Is far and away the closest we have had someone within the RHAP network on.
Take it away.
First question I have for you is, what the hell? What are you doing there? Oh my God!
Oh, it's so weird seeing her there.
It's just like, what? One thing.
I'm sure they talked about this. Mike Bloom did not know she was going to be on the cast.
Led to another, I decided to apply, and here I am.
That's putting it mildly. I mean, we're going to get into all that, but for those who are not in the know, let's get the basic introduction out of you. Let's get your name, your age, where you're from, occupation.
Okay, so I'm Asia Welch, and that's Asia like the continent, because constantly when people see the spelling of my name, I get every variation but Asia.
Well, be prepared. I'm assuming that's going to continue in this game.
I know. I am 32 years old. I live in Houston, Texas, and I am a senior consultant at like
It's
an
so funny.
HR
She's
IT
going
company.
through the basics.
Okay, interesting. Are you more on the HR side or more on the IT side? Because I imagine
More
those
on
are two
the
very
IT side. I know, more on the IT side. Like I constantly get people are like, "Oh, so you hire and fire people?" I'm like, no, 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 no. When people need to hire and fire people, but they can't figure out how to do it in the system, that's when they come to us and are like, "Hey, I tried to hire somebody, but it's not working properly." So I'm like, "Oh, let me go look at the configuration and let me figure it out." So it's a lot of problem solving. So I'm constantly problem solving every single day, which is why I've been in this career for 11 years, which is just what blows my mind. But yeah, I love it because, it pays the bills.
well. Listen, we're talking about a career change that could also pay a very large bill at the end of the day. Let's talk about. I mean, listen again. People who follow you know that you are a fan of Survivor, but let's go in depth about your history and also what brought you from fan and content creator podcaster to actually applying and being on the show.
Yeah. So, well, Mike, I'm still trying to get over looking at you right now. I'm just, it's still blowing my mind. I'm so
Right?
happy.
It's weird that she has the
But
stuff in the
yes, okay. So I've been
background.
watching Survivor since I
Like, what
was
is she
12 years
doing
old.
there? It's
And
fake.
it was something like my
What's this
mom
green
watched since day
screen?
one. And then at 12, I was like, watching, and she put me on. And so then me, my brother, her, and my dad, we would always watch. And it just became one of those things. It's a family event, like, first Thursdays, and, then it turned into Wednesdays. Like you were watching Survivor every week. Couldn't wait. And so for me growing up, I was like, Survivor looks so hard. Like who wants to go outside and like literally I've never been camping. I've never done anything that has made me live outside. I mean, I didn't even grow up going to like summer camps or anything like that. I was inside. Okay. And so for
It's
me,
regular speed.
Survivor always seemed so, 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 so hard. But now that I'm 32 years old, I'm at this point in my life where like I have everything in a really good place. I have two dogs that I love and adore. I have a beautiful home that I bought for us. Like, I'm in a great place in my career. I'm at that point where I'm like, there was so long I was like, okay, what's the next level? What's the next level? And I'm finally at a point where I'm like, I'm coasting. I'm in a really great place, right? And then I get to have my creative outlet with podcasting. That's really fun. And so then I was just like, you
Okay,
know
thank you.
what?
Welcome.
And I'm in a place where I feel like I really know myself more than I ever have. And I said, you know what? Let me apply and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? I don't hear back, right? But then I kept hearing back and I kept hearing back and I kept hearing back. And I was like, what? How is this happening? I'm so confused how this is happening. And so I was just like on cloud nine throughout the entire casting process. And now I'm actually in Fiji and it still hasn't hit. I'm still in cloud nine. I wake up every morning like, okay, pinching myself because I'm in Fiji, So I'm like, when is it going to hit me? I'm probably when my toes are in the sand and I'm seeing Jeff that I'll just be like, I'm playing the game of Survivor. But
It's
right
gonna be
now, it
weird
still
seeing
feels
her
like I'm dreaming.
interact with Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, you might be on
It's
Cloud
gonna
Nine
be
because
weird
that's also
seeing
the
the
name of the
whole
pizza
thing.
restaurant that is on a floating barge out in the sea. So you might be visiting that later on, but hopefully, hopefully not too soon. So looking back on Survivor history, give me one winner and one non-winner who you identify with the most.
Oh, that is such an easy question. Okay, so one winner is Natalie Anderson.
Mm.
I have been like, I loved her game. I love how like she was so just like confident in herself, so physically strong, just like she is who you would want to be as a woman to go out there and kill. I mean, probably some men too would want to be her to just go out there and kill it, right? And she's just so unapologetically herself and confident. And so like I've been in the gym consistently for like 6 months preparing for like if I need to be the strong woman on my tribe, I can do it, right? So I did a lot of weightlifting, a lot of strength conditioning leading into this. So I feel
She
like I
went
can relate
climbing
to
one
Natalie in
time.
that way. And then even like her, having that tight bond with Jeremy as like a
Chappelle was
brother. I'm
up.
looking for a brother out here, like me and my little brother. We are so close. He is 6 years younger than me, but he is one of my
Chappelle
best
also
friends.
went
Like,
climbing
people
one
look at
time.
us and they're like, wait, who's older? I'm like, well, I don't know if that's a compliment or what. It's like, because he's 6 years younger. But like, I'm looking for like somebody who can fill in the role as my brother, somebody that I can like really, you know, rely on. And so when I think of that, I think of like Natalie. But then a non-winner I relate to was definitely Suri. Love Suri. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like my relationships in the game are going to be what drives me to the end. I love people.
Chappelle
I
is a
love
climber. He
learning about
just
people.
hasn't
I have friends of all different
climbed
types. I'm
enough
just
yet.
so
He's at
like
heart, he's a
I'm
climber.
so interested in like how people became who they
He
are. Why
knows
do they do
this.
what they
We all
do?
know this.
Why do they behave the way that they behave? Like what has happened in their life to get them to where they are today? And so people fascinate me. Like I'm the type of person. Like I took a flight some months ago where the girl next to me, I was like, we look the same age. I talked to her for the entire 3 hour flight. Like I was just so curious about her life. And like we ended up following each other on Instagram. And I was like, I literally have at least 6 or 7 contacts in my phone. It's like so and so met on flight. Because I always like if
You
I'm
can
on a
tell this
flight and
that
you don't
she
have
told this
headphones in
story
your
for
ear,
casting.
I'm in the clear. Like we didn't have a conversation. Especially if I'm just so intrigued. So I'm just like, I'm here, you know, seeing everybody, and I'm so interested in like their stories. Like, I'm like, we all, you know, obviously we can't talk right now, but I'm like, you're here for a reason. I know I'm here for a reason. You're all here for a reason. Like, what is it that, you know, Survivor saw in you, said you should play this game? Like that's what I want to know about everyone. And of course, some people we might not find out because it's like that's a secret they want to carry forward. But I still want to get to know, like, well, where are you from? Like there's this one guy that has on, like, he wore a San Antonio Spurs hat one day. Today he's wearing Oklahoma sweatshirt. So I'm like, where are
I
you
actually
from?
don't know because
Like
I've
I don't
intentionally
know.
not
Are you
asked
from
her
Texas or
anything
are you
about
from
it.
Oklahoma? Like I don't
I'm curious
understand.
to know if
Watch
she
you be from like New York or
recognized
something.
Baby
And so
Andy or
I'm so
Teeny.
curious
I think
about
there's
learning about
even
people.
more
And then also I wanted to be
potential
genuine. Like
fans of this podcast.
I feel like that's something that Suri was able to do masterfully, was connect with people on a genuine level, because I want them to feel like it's not my strategy. Because I am smart. What I do for a living, it requires a certain level of intelligence. And I am a physical, I believe that I would be a physical threat. Um, because I've played basketball my entire life. I love like I can lift pretty heavy. And so I have endurance. And so I feel like that part of myself I want to be able to utilize, especially to help my tribe, but I don't want them to think that my social game is my strategy, because then I feel like it will help people
They
genuinely
know
like
each
me,
other.
maybe even love me. Like I want people to fall in love in the shortest amount of time ever.
I mean, listen, you covered Married at First Sight. You're all about, love right there in the moment.
Like fall in love with me in 10 days and then you don't want to vote me out, right?
There we go. That's the ideal plan. Now, look, we got to talk about, the 500-pound microphone in the room. You are someone who knows these shows deeply, broadcasts your thoughts about them deeply. And on the one hand, that should give you an advantage with knowledge about the show. But we know the path of Survivor is laid by plenty of super fans who come in thinking they know everything and very much
Yeah.
don't. So, like, how much are you guiding your own expectations of the skill set and knowledge you're bringing versus what might actually happen?
You know, that's why I'm relying so heavily on my personal relationships, because I could feel like I could know so much about this show. Like I know every season in order. I know every winner in
You'll
order.
pass that journey challenge then.
Right, exactly. I was like, if last season they did seasons, maybe they're gonna do winners this season. I'm banking on that, and then banking on me going on that journey. But I feel like you can know so much about this game and still fall flat on your face. We've seen it time and time again. So that's why even coming into this, it wasn't even something that I leaned into heavily. Like I didn't lean into like they know I'm a super fan, but that wasn't my why. My why is because of who I am as a person and the personal relationships that I can form, the strength that I can bring, the awareness of myself to be able to navigate myself with different kinds of people, because I've worked with so many different kinds of people of all, uh, political affiliations, of all religions,
This is
of
very
all,
true. I mean,
everything. And
obviously,
so
you
I
guys
feel
probably
like
see it in
because I'm
Asia
leaning into who I am as a
plenty.
person, that's going to help me. Whereas like my knowledge of the game
But
is
she's just so
secondary
good at
and can
connecting with like
hopefully
all
come into
kinds of
play. Obviously
people.
not to repeat mistakes. Like season 46 and not playing idols when you need to be playing idols. But being able to just have the awareness, like, wait, people are moving differently, right? Okay,
Mm.
maybe if I do have an idol, I should play it. Never feel too safe. And so I think maybe my knowledge of the history is like not to repeat, past mistakes, but I think my strength in the game will be who I am as a person and what I'm able to bring to like relationships.
So you mentioned, a bit about finding a brother or a sibling in the game. You mentioned a very confusing geography. Who are some people right now in the silent sphere you're in that you are either vibing with or not vibing with in terms of first impressions?
Oh, okay. I will say, so when I say I do want to find a brother, and that's because the men are so hard to read this season. I don't know what it
Mm.
is. I don't know what it is, but when we are all together, they're just like stone faced. Like, I'm like, give me a smile. Show me you're happy to be here. The women smiling, just grins all like I swear we're hurting our cheeks smiling at each other, right? And so I'm
Interesting.
like, okay, this is positive vibes. Certain people, like within the guys, I'm just like, I know it's gonna be a challenge. So that's what makes me want to engage and
Ooh, playing
create a
hard to
relationship.
get.
Yeah, even more. I'm like, I see you don't want it. So that's why I'm gonna want it for you. I want you to be like, wow, this girl, I did not think we were gonna have a connection, but I don't know. That's just that has been my strength in life is just like no matter the differences, we're gonna find a connection in some way, some shape or form. And the other thing that I was concerned about, obviously, my relation to RHAP, who would recognize me, right? So obviously, I know that some people have recognized me. One person in particular, I do know has recognized me, just the
Okay.
look on his face. And then obviously, there's another person. Well, I guess not obviously, but there's another person, KP. I feel like because he like looks at me
KP.
like when we
Who's
first saw
KP?
each other, he looked at me in a way that
Do we
felt
know?
like, do I know you? But I know I don't
Mm.
know him from somewhere, right? And so, yeah, that's one thing that's going to be interesting to see if that plays a part in just like our love for RHAP. Are we going to have a connection? Are you going to think just because I
Kishan?
do the draft that I'm a threat, which shouldn't be the case? So
Is it
I
true? Did
want to be
he
able to form
recognize her?
connections so they know, like, look, it's a hobby. That's not anything that's threatening.
He
Please,
does not know her.
this
Okay.
is that's like this is all of our first time playing Survivor. We have no idea what we're about to face. We have no idea what Jeff and Survivor is going to throw at us. And so it's just like we have to navigate that. We have to be ready for the unknown, be adaptable. And we're all doing that. No one is
Doesn't
on
know her but
any
feels good
kind of
about her.
like different
Interesting.
playing field just
Or
because
wait,
they talk too much
now
about
somebody else
something.
said he got bad
Mm.
vibes.
What is your most controversial Survivor opinion? Give me your Survivor hot take. I know you got one.
Oh, okay. So I feel like people are hard on the wacky phrases from season
Didn't get good
41 and
vibes.
42.
Interesting.
Bring them back, okay?
Is
Okay.
he on her starting tribe?
I feel like there's so much you could do with it. Like Matt chats are a thing, right? So do something that like maybe Jeff isn't aware of. Like make Jeff laugh. Make Jeff belly laugh, And if you have the ability to do that, next time you go cast a
He
vote, you
is?
have an
Come
extra vote, or you have an
on.
idol, or something, or call someone out on a different tribe. Yeah, that's risky, right? But it's going to be a big payoff if you can get an idol. So
Are
it's like
you're basically asking for like Team America to come in Survivor form of like do these secret tasks?
right. I want these things like I need people to be able to say a
Teeny's on her
thing,
tribe? That's
right?
great.
At the mat chats and then get a reward from it. That's why I really like the wacky phrases. Like obviously what they had the bunny rabbit and that's too obvious. Do
Mm.
something that someone, several, say something that people will remember. Like imagine if Jelinski was able to get something from that. That had a lasting impact. Like we're on a Survivor 40 several. So like imagine. I think there's so much you could do with it, and they should just revisit that.
Last question. You know what I'm going to ask? If you could pick a celebrity or a fictional character to come out for a loved one's visit, who you bringing?
Thought a lot about this, and
Kipper, thank you for 28.
it definitely has to do with what I feel like I'm going to need. So I'm a person that believes a day without laughter is a day wasted. I've hung on to that quote from wherever I saw it for years because I'm just like I love laughing and I love like when I can find something that makes someone else laugh, oh, I'm sticking to it. Like that's my
Look
thing,
how
right?
happy she
And
is.
so I think I have two people that
She's
just
just so
always make me
pumped.
laugh. Issa Rae, the creator of Insecure,
Yes.
and Quinta Brunson, the creator of Abbott Elementary. I feel like they have just such a gift. And I feel like if they were to come out, they would just make me laugh and it would just be all the healing I need for this hard 26-day game. So yeah, the easy one of them too.
Not to mention, it gives them inspiration to create their own, Survivor-like comedy series. Look out, Mike White. There's another one
Yeah,
coming down the barrel.
exactly. And I feel like that would be an amazing opportunity for them. So this is what that is. I'm giving them that opportunity.
Well, I want to give you an opportunity because look, I may be speaking out of turn, but I feel like as a drafter who is on Survivor,
These chapters.
I think you deserve
Not
the
accurate.
right to pick the person to draft you because all these people are going to be fighting
Hold on.
for you.
Ooh.
I think you get to declare right here, right now, who is picking Asia Welch as
I
the
feel like I
winner of
would have heard
Survivor
of this if she had
47.
named a name.
I thought about this because I'm like, okay, scenario. Whoever goes first doesn't pick me. Should my feelings be hurt? Like, should I
Yes.
be offended?
Yes.
But then, I'm sure there are amazing people here. There are probably other people that they can see, some potential with, right? But if I had to pick someone, I'm not picking Shannon. I can't pick Shannon. I can't. Oh man.
I am the only person that's picked two
If I
winners
had
so
to pick
far.
someone, I would say either it's a close call, either Liana or Chappelle. One of those
Okay.
two. Yeah.
I like this. Let's leave it to them to fight it out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
This is you showing your skills already, right? You're like, I'm picking a select few, but like you decide amongst yourselves. I'm not picking favorites.
Right. Like if Puya picks me,
To be fair, I
do you,
hadn't
Puya,
picked
right? But
two winners
if
at this
I had to
point.
pick,
Actually,
the
I
love runs
had. She
deep,
just didn't
but
know.
yeah, I'm just so excited to be here. From the moment
I mean, I
got
still
the
have a
official
better
call,
record
I
of
couldn't
Survivor
wait to talk to
draft,
you.
but-
So I was just so excited for this moment right here. I've been waiting patiently to see your face. So I'm just really excited, and I'm just gonna go out there and give it my all.
And to say I'm excited for you is an understatement. You know how much I adore you and what we've been able to build over the past few years, and getting to just see you right now. Not only is it surreal, but hearing you talk even more about what you plan on bringing.
I mean,
in
listen,
your life
just
and how it's led up to
statistically,
this point.
she
It
has
just
a better
fills
chance
me with
to
so
win
much
if she's
joy.
on my draft.
And
I don't
am
make the
still in a
rules.
little disbelief
I
that
didn't
we get
create
to see
mathematics.
you as a Survivor
okay?
player. But it is just
That wasn't
made me
me.
so
I'm not
eager
the
with
guy.
anticipation
Don't blame me
to
for
see
this.
what is going to happen. And I am so excited when we get the chance to next talk about this, when it will be in December, when you are crowned the winner of Survivor
Yes.
47.
Yes, thank you so much, Mike. Mike
Oh,
Bloom.
thank you, Asia. I will let you get back to, your silent retreat as the anticipation builds up, but I will see you on the other side, my friend. I'm so excited for
so
you.
much.
All right, everybody, there you have it, Asia Welch, and oh my God, she did so good. She's amazing.
Yeah, Rob, completely
Mike, I can't believe this is happening.
Can I just
This is incredible.
Can I briefly describe the timeline, Rob?
Yes.
So, because
I'm pumped up now.
Oh, I mean, how can you not be? Here's the thing: is that some people have asked me, especially when Asia's face showed up on the teaser for 47, like, what was your reaction like when you saw her sit down in front of you in front of that picturesque background? And let me just again talk a little bit about how the sausage gets made. So for those of us that are doing preseason press,
How do people know that the background was picturesque when they asked you this question?
I don't know. I think they just had assumed.
They assumed.
Listen, when you film in Fiji for nearly a decade, Rob, you assume that things are pretty dang picturesque.
Sir, how did you get such a picturesque background? And what was your reaction?
Yeah, it's part of my FAQs, honestly, top of the list. But another FAQ, again, is like, how did you react when you found out that Asia was on the cast? So those of us that do preseason press, we are given a list of cast members ahead of time, just so we are at least somewhat prepared for who is going to come sit down and talk Survivor with us. And so my wife, Angela, can tell you this. I was just sitting at home, we were playing with our son, and I got an email. I was like, oh, look, the cast members for Survivor 47. Let me look through. It was listed in alphabetical order by first name. I thought, like, oh, Andrew Rueda. We'll certainly get to him. Oh, that's a familiar face. I'm glad to see that he is on the cast. Oh, Anna Kadar. She seems interesting. And when I tell you, Rob, I threw my phone on the bed and stood up as if it had transformed into some sort of large bug and like almost recoiled out of joy. It's an odd phrase, but it just sort of blew my mind because I personally had no idea that she had had any inclination of ever wanting to come on to Survivor, let alone going through all the entire process to actually make her way out there at the Fiji.
Yeah, your reaction was like it was palpable, like the amount of joy that you had talking to her, and you were very sweet at the end of the video, and it is super exciting. I think it really, and I've heard from so many people in the RHAP community about how excited they are for Asia, and I think it just speaks to the type of person she is, and I think also the ability that I think she's going to be able to take with her into the game. She loves people. She made that very clear. I think that happens to be the one common denominator among all the great Survivor players. While there are many different Survivor play styles, we've seen so many different people succeed at this game over the years. The one thing that they all have in common is that they have a love for getting to know people. And Asia spoke about that so wonderfully in her if she sees anybody raw dogging it on a plane, RIP to this guy. That's what it's called, Mike. You just sit there and are staring ahead on the plane, not listening to anything. And if Asia sees you, she's going to strike up a conversation.
Yeah,
and so
I would be intrigued to maybe they should do like those. Remember they used to do on Big Brother evictions, like let's talk with the people from their personal lives. I would love to talk with the person that was on the other end of that conversation that Asia had a few months back, just to see what is Asia in her phone. Because
yeah.
I think to your point, that is something that we all have in common as podcasters. And look, I'm assuming that people would, think that we'd say this, but I do think Asia, from a skill set perspective, is set up to do very well.
Skill sets that you would want in a Survivor podcaster. She ends up, okay, another person recognizes, okay, Asia, the person who listens to Survivor podcast. Okay, great, we're doing great so far. Now that information telephone game goes to another person.
How are these players going to approach this season, having seen all of 45 and most of
sort of feel like, okay, I'm not as worried about them. D being the exception, except in that she had a very strong alliance, which was able to, I think, sort of
I believe the choice, right, as to picking the order. Are you going to follow Asia's rules here?
I am not beholden to that. She's getting a chance to go after this Survivor adventure. I meant what I said about trying to be fair about it, but it will be a challenge to do so.
And it's just like a palpable excitement and energy as well, Rob. Now, listen, not to talk too much about the draft, but you do have, I believe, the choice, right, as to picking the order. Are you going to follow Asia's rules here?
I am not beholden to Asia's wishes. I will do as I see fit, as is my right as the winner of the Survivor 46 draft.
Okay, there we go. Well, Asia at least gave her statement on it, so make of it what
duly
you will.
noted. Duly noted. Okay,
and I'm sure the drafters themselves will have opinions after Asia expressed the people that she did and did not want to draft her.
Okay. All right. We're gonna.
All right. I gotta say, seems promising. Yeah, she seems like she'd be good. I mean, we'll have to wait until we see her pet peeves, but yeah, pretty good interview. Could definitely be draft material. Kmart with 34 months. Thank you. Appreciate it. What will her pet peeves be? That's a good question. All right, how do I find this? Survivor 47 bios. Is Parade maybe the best place? Try Parade. Okay. Here we go. How legible is this? That's not bad. All right. Here we go. Asia. Hold on. Hold on. I got to do something real quick. That's better. Okay. 3 words to describe you. Overachiever, unique, joyful. What do you want to... Why do you want to be part of Survivor? Watched Survivor since I was 12. My mom started watching season 1. She put me on. I always thought Survivor was too hard, but I've reached a point in my life where I've accomplished a lot. Personally, I'm ready for the next big challenge. Not only is this my dream, but my family's too. Kmart. What's up, Kev? How are things? We're talking about Asia on Survivor. Chappelle is the family. Things are going, dude. We got to catch up soon. Maybe play some Halo or something. Okay. Kevin got a shout out from Andy. Wait, really? What's one life experience that's prepared you for the game? 2017 Hurricane Harvey hit Houston. My apartment got above 1 foot of water, ruining so many of my belongings and furniture. My dad drove down from Dallas. I had to walk through waist deep water at night to go get him. Water had snakes and all kinds of creatures. Oof. Oof. Wait, Kev, you're going to TwitchCon? Which previous player did I identify with most? She identifies most with Suri, her ability to personally connect with so many different kinds of people. Plans to use her have a social game like Suri with the physicality of Natalie Anderson. I lost 10 pounds of fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle. Ooh. Not going to TwitchCon. Still, we should catch up. Very impressive, by the way, to drop 10 pounds of fat and gain 5 pounds of muscle. Man, if this were Big Brother, she'd be set. What do you value in an alliance partner? Blind loyalty. I'd love for them to be loyal to me without realizing that I'm a threat to win. Too many people lately have been blindsided by their ally. I want an ally who is too loyal to even consider betrayal. Hambala, thank you for the 25th. I mean, that's a great quality to have, for sure. Favorite hobbies: going to escape rooms, playing basketball, long walks with my dogs, watching TV, working out, drinking cider at a cidery or wine at a winery. You know, cideries were a thing. All right, here we go. This is the big one. Pet peeves. I don't even want to look. This could make or break. I mean, listen, the who should draft me might have already broken. But the pet peeves, we'll see. People who are loud in quiet spaces, not bad. People who chew to the point where you can identify what part of the meal they're on. I appreciate the specificity. People who don't listen. People who oppose the idea that dogs can be someone's children. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. Not the best. We got a couple of generic ones. Nothing that's you know, terribly wrong. She has gone with people who every single one of them was a people who. Pet peeve of mine, people who wouldn't want me to pick them in the draft. I don't know who those people would be, but probably people who would do that. But here's the thing. We're going to go through the rest of the bio. We have to look at the other pet peeves because pet peeves can be graded on a curve. So we'll see if other people have better pet peeves. Okay, what is the accomplishment you're most proud of? I bought my first house all on my own at 29. I always thought I'd wait until I was married for that type of investment, but I had the means and I went for it. I had to make sure I had enough space for Pepper and Cinnamon to run around. They're my dogs, and I call them my Spice Girls. It's so funny reading a lot of this because I'm not used to reading a bio for a player when I already know a lot of the answers to the questions. What is something we would never know from looking at you? I'm super competitive. If the objective is to win, my goal is to win. I don't care if it's trivia on Facebook Messenger with my 7-year-old goddaughter. I even broke up with an ex because I beat him 1v1 in basketball and he threw a temper tantrum. I mean, I'd say that's more on him than you, but you know. Who is your biggest inspiration and why? My mom. She had gastric bypass surgery where she lost 150 pounds after constant exercise post-surgery and has kept it off for 15 years. She had a kidney transplant after being on dialysis for 6 years. She's the embodiment of overcoming no matter what you go through. Sorry, thank you. The 50th. For context, her ex was like 5'1". What is this context supposed to tell me, Chappelle? That it was easier to beat him in basketball? Why will you be the sole survivor? I believe I will be underestimated. I will use my social game to push me through while unveiling my competitiveness when it matters most. Then at the final tribal council, I will be able to clearly articulate my strategy to get there. I think this would be true if people didn't know who she was. I worry that she will not be underestimated because people know who she is. I think it's harder to be underestimated when you know her background. But I'm assuming that she knows that as well. She beat a man who was shorter than her and then broke up with him because it's Chappelle. It doesn't sound like she broke up with him because he lost. It sounds like she broke up with him because he threw a temper tantrum because he lost. Okay. Solid bio. But now we have to go and look at everyone's pet peeves. We'll start with baby Andy here. For the record, I have met Andy. We hung out. We talked books. I like him. He's a cool guy. I don't know if he ever read any of my recommendations, so that may, you know, tip the scales on whether or not I can root for him. I'm not gonna. you take my recommendations, you don't read them. I don't know. I don't know if you did. So let's see. Pet peeves. Grammar Nazis. In linguistics, we call them prescriptivists. This is funny. This is a funny one. Because surely this is intentional. Right? Surely. People walking directly behind me. I can appreciate that one. I think that tracks. It's also, again, I like how specific it is. And then cherry-picked statistics. Now, as someone who was just talking about how statistically Asia has a better chance of winning if she's on my draft team, I agree that you shouldn't cherry pick statistics. You should only focus on the ones that are true and accurate and make the most sense. Okay. He did talk about people, but he didn't people who. He said people walking directly behind me, cherry-picked statistics. The closest thing would be grammar Nazis, aka prescriptivists. But it's also a pretty short list here. Hold on, I gotta go back to Asia because this is already a close call. Because the grammar Nazis and then being really specific about what he would call them is such a, whether it's intentional or not, is such a funny contrast. It's pretty good. Compared to Asia, people who are loud in quiet places, people who chew to the point where you can identify what part of the meal they're on. That's the best one right there. Because it's specific. And it's vivid. It paints a picture of something that I'm like, ooh. People who don't listen. Like people who don't listen to me talking about how I don't like people who have peeves. People who oppose the idea that dogs can be someone's children. I think Baby Andy, I'm sorry, I think Baby Andy takes that. I think he has her beat on pet peeves right now. We'll see though. She could come in second place. She's still in contention for the silver. Not a great sign that one person knocked her out of the top spot though. Okay, here we go. This is Anika. Pet peeves. When people leave the water running. People who aren't spatially aware in crowded spaces. Oof, that is a bad one. Slow drivers in the left lane. Oh. Oh, that resonates. That resonates. Slow drivers in the left lane. They're trying to get me killed. They have a hit out on my life. That's a good pet peeve. It's such a good pet peeve. I'm almost willing to give it a pass on just calling out those specific people and not just the doing of it. Okay, when people leave the water running, not the best pet peeve, but it is a when people and not a people who. People who aren't spatially aware in crowded spaces, oof, that is yes. As someone who was at a concert recently, yes. And slow drivers in the left lane, I mean, oof, man. Anika's taking silver right now. I mean, she could take gold. Wait, what is happening there? All right, I think we're gonna have to come back to this. Next up, Caroline. Pet peeves. Incompetency. Fair. Loud chewers. Okay. People who ask you to complete something by a deadline and then send a follow-up before the deadline. They ask you to complete something by a deadline and then send a follow-up before the deadline? A follow-up as in another ask, or a follow-up as in a clarification to the ask? Because I'm not going to lie, I thought what she was about to say was they send a follow-up after the deadline's already over. Like, oh, I'm following up. I want you to actually do this instead, and I've already done it now. But what she's saying is people who ask you to complete something by a deadline and then I guess send a follow-up as in a reminder, as in a where is it? Okay, that would be annoying. I can't say that I feel as though I've experienced a lot of that. But I can see why it would be annoying. We're going to put her fourth for now. Next up is Gabe. Pet peeves. Passive aggression. Say what you mean. It's not bad. But there's just not a lot of meat there, Gabe. You're going to be fifth. Hold on, I got to keep track of this. Numbered list. Right now we've got I'm just going to say it's Anika, Andy, Asia, Caroline, Gabe. That is the current order. What if someone was asking me how the live feed update is coming at 7 a.m.? People do that all the time. Genevieve. Pet peeves. Okay, looks a little meaty here. Airports. Or the combo of airports and people. I like this because she said airports and I thought, yes, airports are annoying, but also cool. And then she specified the combo of airports and people, at which point I went, yes, people are the problem. People who line up at the gate way too early, as if the plane will leave without them if they don't storm the boarding gate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who would do that. That's yeah, I would never do that. That sounds rude. I mean, I'm sure like if there were people that did do that, they'd probably stand right outside of the line. So they weren't like in the line, but they were like ready to be at the front of the line when their group was called. That's probably what they would be doing if they were doing it. But I just sit there. Sometimes they're like, last call, and I'm like, oh, whoops, sorry, I was just being too polite. Let me tell you, I storm that line like it's Normandy. There's no way I'm checking that bag. It's getting in those bins. All right. People who hog the armrest or take off their shoes and then put their feet up. Yuck. I agree. That's a big yuck. Both of those are a big yuck. These are pretty good pet peeves. I like the theme. Has a good message, you know? One of them maybe hit a little too close to home. Let's see. Genevieve. I think she's going to have to come in right above Asia. Third place. John Lovett. Podcaster extraordinaire. Pet peeves. Too many to count. Okay. You are setting high expectations, sir. I hope you meet them. Because you say too many to count, and yet I see not a lot of lines in this paragraph. Phones at stoplight. I agree. People who cut a line and then act confused. Okay. I see this pet peeve. However, I need more specificity. I want you to paint the picture. What are they acting confused about? Give me the interaction. Because I'm sure, quite honestly, I have not really experienced people cutting lines in front of me all that often. So I need you to fill in the gaps for me. It sounds like it would be annoying, but I don't feel the annoyance, you know? Tell me a story. I'm constantly annoyed. I'm like a gay Larry David. Listen, that sounds fun. I'm just not feeling it. You're telling, you're not showing. Give me more pet peeves, please. I think hold on. I got to look at Gabe again. Whoops. What did Gabe give me? Because he's currently in last. Passive aggression. Say what you mean. You know what? He explained it. Which is more than what I can say for John Levitt. John's going to be last place right now. All right. I probably should watch the videos before I try to say these people's names. Kishan. Pet peeves. Ooh, this is looking short. However, it starts strong. Slow walkers. Loud chewers. And thinking salt and pepper are seasoning. Slow walkers always a plus. I bet you there's a correlation between people who find slow walkers to be a pet peeve and people who do well in competitions. Because they've got that hustle in them. Loud chewers, it's fine. Thinking salt and pepper are seasoning. Not bad. I would have liked a little more explanation, perhaps. You know? Like, give me a scenario where this has really bothered you. Kishan. We got to go back to Caroline. Caroline gave us incompetency, loud chewers, the deadline one. It's pretty similar. It's pretty similar, except a little more relatable to me. And therefore, Kishan will come above Caroline under Asia in 5th place. Kyle. Pet peeves. People sneezing around me and hearing people chew food. Okay. Two things. One, it's not like people can choose to sneeze or not sneeze. Two, you're only hearing people chew food. That does not mean they're actually chewing loudly. It just means that you might be too close to them. And because of those two things, I like this. I like how unfair this is. These are pet peeves. This man is not trying to be better than anyone else. He's just saying, these things annoy me. School, think of the 4th. Those two things drive me absolutely bonkers, he says. I read this sentence. I think of a man who is truly peeved. I don't think of a man who is going, I disapprove. I think of a man who is going, I'm hearing the chewing. I'm seeing the sneezing. I can appreciate this. I think we're going to put him also right below Asia. 5th place. New 5th place. He could have been more descriptive. Asia had that description of the chewing. You can't say loud chewers and not describe and beat Asia. It's just not happening. Rachel. Pet peeves. Hot oil splattering me while cooking. Good. Balloons popping, especially intentionally. These are 2 very solid pet peeves. There's no people who. They're just, again, annoying things. And she even points out the balloons popping, that annoys her, whether it's intentional or not. But it's even more annoying if it's intentional. Very good. Very solid. I think we're going to put her just below Kyle in 6th place. Rome Cooney. Pet peeves. Ordering food with somebody, then when we get the food, they still want to take some of my fries or what I got. If you wanted some, order more. It's a good pet peeve. I like the descriptiveness. He took me on a journey there. He told a story. It is a little lukewarm. It's a little generic. Pretty sure I've heard at least 5 comedians in the 90s talk about this. But it is fair. I mean, it's talked about for a reason. Ooh, this is getting tough. Let me go back to Keyshawn. Keyshawn was the genuinely annoyed one. Caroline is way back here. Caroline. Yeah, definitely above Caroline, perhaps below Keyshawn. I think that's going to be the way it is. That's where we put Rome. Sam. Pet peeves. When someone leaves the door open too long, entering the sauna and wastes the heat. Now that is specific. When someone uses an accent to say a foreign word correctly when they're not from there. Overly confident sports fans. And he had me until the last one. Is he a sports guy? Is he a football player or something? Sports reporter. Beat reporter. Okay. I can see why that overly confident sports fan seems more like an occupational hazard than a pet peeve. That would be like me saying my pet peeve is like being harassed on the internet by Big Brother fans. Maybe not quite that dramatic. My pet peeve would be like that's an occupational pet peeve. It's not as relatable. To me, at least. I don't know. I'm also not really in the sports world. But when someone leaves the door open too long, entering the sauna and wastes the heat, that's so bougie. I love it. When someone uses an accent to say a foreign word correctly when they're not from there. That's pretty good. I don't really have an opinion one way or the other, but I appreciate that it bothers him. I need to be reminded of Rachel. We're going to go above Rachel. Above Rachel, below Kyle. What was Kyle? Yeah. Above Rachel, below Kyle. That's where Sam is going to go. Ooh, we're reaching the end here. We are 12 people down. Sierra. I got to say, a little underwhelmed by the pet peeve so far. Nobody has come close to reaching the heights of Mariah. Pet peeves. Clapping when the plane lands. Fair. Slow walkers. Or saying no offense or I'm kidding when you're not kidding. Very solid pet peeves right there. That's pretty good. Not a lot to say. Just solid. Just solidly in there. I feel like we're going to go just above Kyle for that. Just under Asia. Saul. Pet peeves. Treating people in the service industry like crap. Be kind. Great message. Bad pet peeve. Hold on. We're going to compare to Gabe here. It's pretty similar to Gabe. It's pretty similar to Gabe, but more noble, and therefore worse. Sue. Pet peeves. One-uppers. People who talk too much about stuff that no one cares about. Can't read the room. Energy drainers. People who are only negative and complain all the time. I mean, that's just funny to put at the end, you know? This is one of those pet peeves that sounds like she's talking about a person. You know what I mean? Like if she had if she had answered this question with like Steve, I think it's the same answer if you knew Steve. You know what I mean? Like Steve, if you know him, you'll get it. Same answer as one-uppers, people who talk too much about stuff that no one cares about. Steve, read the room. Energy drainers like Steve, who talks all the time only about negative stuff. He's constantly complaining. I will say my instinct was to say Kyle, but there was a Kyle on the cast, so I had to go with a different name. Sorry to any Kyles out there as well. Sue, we're going to put... Rome. Above Caroline, below Rome. Teeny. Pet peeves. When people are constantly late, it makes me very angry and upset. There are no excuses. No excuses. I appreciate the boldness there. I feel like most people would read this and go, no excuses? Really? Like there's no excuses? And I appreciate the boldness with which it took to make that statement. To be fair, though, yes, this is correct. Constantly late. No excuses for being constantly late. That actually starts tracking more. Which makes me like it less. But that is very annoying. People who are constantly late. It's a pretty good one. I think she joins the single issue voters. I mean, pet peevers. Or sorry, actually, that's they join. I believe. They join the single pet peevers. I haven't watched the interview yet. Tiana. She or they. Okay. Pet peeves. Entitled people. People who don't use their blinkers. When someone talks at me, not with me. People who make others feel lame for caring about things. Pessimistic people. Loud talkers in public spaces. This might be just like a recency thing, but I'm just appreciating that this is like, 4 or 5 different pet peeves and not just like 1 or 2. But there are a lot of people who's here. Tiana, let's compare you to Sierra. Not going to be quite there. What about Kyle? Whoops. Oh, no. Okay. All right, we'll put you above Kyle. 6th place. Finally, final one, TK. Wait, who's the one that had a bad vibe about Asia? This guy? Well, listen, I'm pretty sure she's not a slow walker. She's clearly not a loud chewer. And she definitely doesn't think salt and pepper are seasoning because she thinks they're dogs. So I don't know what he's talking about. All right, here we go. Pet peeves, unmotivated people. People who think they know everything. Someone talking over me when I am speaking. Bad hygiene. That was a bunch of nothing. Is it better than Gabe? Maybe. Is it better than Caroline? No. I think we plop it right there in 15th. Okay. I gotta say, not the best cast for pet peeves. Not the best. Right now, we are in contention. The first two, other than Asia, are at the top here. We got Andy with grammar Nazis, aka prescriptivists. And then we got Anika with people who leave the water running, people who aren't spatially aware in crowded spaces, and the clincher, slow drivers in the left lane. And then in 3rd place, I put Genevieve. The airports. I think that's a solid top 3. I think these are the top 3. They have medaled. They have podiumed. But who gets the gold? That's a little tricky. I don't think it's Andy. I think Andy needed to give me a little bit more. Anika could win it with slow drivers in the left lane. Genevieve. It's just well put together. It's well crafted. Airports, the combo of airports and people, the people who line up at the gate way too early, the people who hog the armrest, the people who put their feet up. What do you think? What do you think, Carlos? I think the airport. I think that's it. I think it's Genevieve. I think Genevieve takes gold. Anika takes silver. And Andy takes bronze. And it says a lot that that the people whoers are they're getting top spots here. Oh. Buddy. Heat escaping the sauna was good. I will not lie. That was easily the best one from Sam. He really just lost me a little bit with overly confident sports fans. Also, like, is it really wasting the heat? Like, that's literally like the one thing a sauna produces is heat. You got plenty. Hmm. I do appreciate the pettiness of it. I do. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. He tapped me. I am now contractually obligated to carry him downstairs and give him some food. Let's go. I'll be back. Turns out he didn't want food. He just wanted to be held and carried. It happens. It just depends on whether he jumps out of my arms or whether he stays in my arms. He just wanted some cuddles. I know I'm not laying on a couch. It's their fault. They want me on a chair. You can't lay in my legs. Last minute stock watch advice? You really shouldn't take stock watch advice from me. I went all in on Leo last week. Oof. Man, there's not a lot of great options here. Is holding smart? Probably not, right? I mean, maybe. If you're already up there, if you're already up there, like you have a good amount of money, maybe holding is the option. Like if I was in the spot I was before, I'd probably be holding this week. There's just too much potential variance here. There's been talk of targeting T-Core, talk of targeting Chelsea. Talk of targeting Cam. Talk of targeting MJ. Talk of targeting Leah. Talk of targeting Angela. Talk of targeting Chemo. Maybe Rubina? Hmm. Hmm. There's MJ. Obviously Chelsea should be in a good spot, but like maintaining the 7, yeah. I mean things could crash down, but like you just have to hope that Angela or Leah doesn't win, and then Chelsea's probably fine, but she doesn't make you a lot of money unless she goes back up. Oh. Here, here. Oh. All right, I don't want to speak too loudly in his ears. Hmm. He's gonna be confused because I'm not bringing him downstairs. Um, yeah, this is a tough one. Hmm. I could honestly, I could see arguments for so many different directions. I'd say T-Core. I'm just worried about a couple of things. One is that Chelsea's looking at her, and two, she's more likely to lose one of her numbers than Chelsea is. Chelsea's probably fine, not as likely to lose a number, not as likely to be targeted, more likely to come off the block even if she is, but not as likely to make as much money, and I need to make money. Cam has potential for bigger profit. He probably will win a comp, but the problem is that even if he wins HOH, which he might, that doesn't necessarily increase his rating because he might be doing things we disagree with. MJ may be a little better because she's a little less likely to be targeted, a little more likely to be in a slightly elevated position next week with Chemo maybe leaving, something like that. I do think Rubina is still an option. I think she could hit 6. I gave her a 6. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Don't know what to tell you. It's just so up to what happens with the HOH. There's just so many possibilities. I don't know if a lot of people are making a lot of money. I think there's going to be like 1 or 2 people that make money at best. I think a lot of people are coming down potentially. And it's just a matter of who wins HOH. If we knew what the HOH was, I'd feel so much more confident. I would definitely be holding if I hadn't just lost a lot of money. But that's me. All right. Well, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna stop down the stream and then start it back up again for Big Brother, so that Big Brother viewers have a clean start to the episode watch. So I'm gonna take like 5 minutes. I'll be back, and then we'll watch tonight's eviction. That's the plan right now. Hope you enjoyed the Survivor talk. We're gonna continue to celebrate the partner anniversary, and then we'll have quite the night here. All right. Thanks again for hanging out, and I will see all of you very soon.